Alrighty, everybody. Good morning, everybody. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Redriveraviation. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. And today we have another massive announcement to go over for you guys today. I really hope you guys are excited for today's video. We have a lot to go over, everybody. Another full-on wake-up, a huge announcement. This time from American Airlines and Austin, Texas, man. This is unbelievable. I have a lot of insight that I'll talk about at the end. But first and foremost, everybody, we have a lot to go over. So American Airlines continues to build up Austin with 14 more new routes. From Simply Flying, of course. There is more big news for the Austin area travelers. American Airlines is continuing to double down on its commitment to the city. Already operating a focus city of sorts, American is continuing to expand out of Austin with a whopping 14 new routes slated to start this fall, including new international services. American Airlines adding 14 new routes in Austin. Starting as soon as September 8th, American Airlines is adding new nonstop routes to 9 destinations in the continental United States from Austin Bergstrom International Airport. The airline will add services to the following destinations. This is one heck of a slate, everybody. All right, did not expect this whole list, guys, but Cincinnati begins twice daily on September 8th. And what we'll see with these multi-frequencies is most of them will be starting periodically, one after another. And we'll explain it right here. The next new service is to El Paso, Texas, with 3 daily flights, which one frequency will start on September 8th, another frequency will start on October 7th, and the third frequency will start on November 2nd, which I think is a very clever idea by American. Indianapolis will begin twice daily, one starting on September 8th and the other one starting on October 7th. Jacksonville will begin 1 daily flights from September 8th. Kansas City will begin twice daily services, one on September 8th and the other one on November 2nd. Oklahoma City will begin daily service on October 7th. Reno Tahoe International Airport will begin daily service on September 8th. St. Louis International Airport will begin twice daily service, one on September 8th and the second one will start on October 7th. And last but certainly not least, Tulsa International Airport will begin daily service on November 2nd. This is more like a Southwest type route map right here. I'm going to briefly show it because I'm not sure if I'm going to edit this video or not. But as you can see right here, you can see that outside of Reno, it's mainly all Midwest stuff, which is super, super interesting. So I'm going to give you guys the evaluation on what all competition that they have on this since we have the opportunity to do that. So they're going to face competition on, let's begin on the list here. El Paso. That's definitely shot at Southwest from Austin, El Paso. They own that market, so American definitely wants to take a stab on Southwest on that market. Kansas City, once again, same story, multiple frequencies that Southwest owns. I don't think anybody else has those routes, but I'll double check here in a moment. Let's see. St. Louis, of course, because Southwest absolutely goes after St. Louis and Austin, I'm sure. And I believe those are the only ones, but I'm going to check. Do they have Indianapolis? Southwest may not. At least yet, but I'm sure they're going to add that. I don't see Indianapolis. I don't see Jacksonville. I don't see Cincinnati. And I don't see any of the other ones. I don't see Reno. Yeah, they don't have Reno. Okay, they have seasonal service to Indianapolis. There it is. Seasonal service to Indianapolis. So there's another competition. So American Airlines, full on going after Southwest here. I don't think anybody else has any of these other flights, but I'm looking to see. I currently don't see anything mind-blowing. Delta Connection does have Cincinnati, so that's probably a stab at Southwest. And that's it. There's another route that's pretty heavy that we'll talk about here in a moment for competition, but American Airlines for sure mainly getting after Southwest Airlines with these routes. But on top of that, we're getting to the point where Austin's going to, we'll talk about it more in a minute, where Austin's going to turn into more of a connection airport with some of these routes they're starting. And I'll talk about more evaluation here in a moment. That's the major stuff. But we're not done there. In addition, the airline will add 5 new international destinations out of its network to Austin, to Latin America, and the Caribbean. The 5 new destinations from Austin in this region are Cancun, Mexico, 4 weekly flights on Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays starting on October 7th. Liberia, Costa Rica begins with 3 weekly flights from Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays beginning on November 2nd. Punta Cana, Dominican Republic begins on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sundays, which is 4 weekly on November 2nd. Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with 3 weekly flights on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, also on November 2nd. And last but certainly not least, San Juan, Puerto Rico, with its daily flight starting on October 7th. Daily services, that's impressive. And then on top of that, they'll also be increasing 2 international destinations to year-round services out of Austin, Texas, which will be Nassau in the Bahamas. Nassau, I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced, so I apologize. And that will be on November 2nd, now operating 4 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sundays. Last but certainly not least, Los Cabos, Mexico. Cabo, Mexico, of course, which will be year-round, operating from October 7th on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. To my knowledge, there is not an absolute ton of service to these areas outside of American, of course. Southwest, of course, has Cancun, and that may be it for Southwest. I think they just have Cancun. Spirit actually has Cancun as well, out of Austin, and Sun Country actually has Austin too, so I was kind of a little off on that, but there is a little bit of service to, especially Cancun, but to these other cities such as San Juan, Cabo, Puerto Vallarta, there is nothing. So American definitely trying to get after this international market at Austin. With how big Austin's growing, there's definitely a time to do that. And last but certainly not least, Austin's going to be increasing frequencies on many flights. So strengthening its commitment in Austin, American Airlines will also add new services to the existing domestic routes. The following cities will see new services this fall. Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport will see 2 new frequencies on November 2nd to complement the already 10 or 11 they have, probably 737s or 8-21s, maybe 319s. Orlando will see an additional flight from October 7th. So the Orlando route must be doing very well, the one that started back a few months ago. Miami will see an additional 2 flights, one starting on October 2nd and the other starting on November 2nd. New Orleans will see an additional frequency on October 7th, which is another new route that they added. And on top of that, Tampa will see an additional frequency on November 2nd, which is another very competitive route out of Austin, as Frontier flies that seasonally. Southwest, of course, flies Tampa, or they should, yes, they do year-round. Spirit, I thought they did, but they don't. South is Delta. Delta's not, but there's quite a bit of competition on that particular service. Okay, Allegiant actually does do Cincinnati as well. I kind of forgot about Allegiant's little build up here in Austin, but they do have that. Wow, okay. Super, super interesting. In March, American Airlines announced a new nonstop routes out of Austin, one of its most important cities. This latest announcement will continue to build up the airline's commitment, one of the fastest growing cities in America. Brian Zonitz, I think something like that, American's Vice President of Network Planning, stated the following. Earlier this year, we added more flights from Austin. Customers have spoken. They want more. We're eager to offer more customers even more opportunities to reconnect with family, friends, and allegiance, I think. Together with our partners, we're making it easier to connect Austin with the world. Combined with all of its partners, the airline will sell nearly 100 peak day departures from Austin this fall. This is a significant amount of flying for a non-hub city. This includes planning to fly with Alaska, British Airways, and JetBlue. Building out a focus city. American Airlines has not called Austin a focus city, however, the airline is starting to become one. Generally, Austin is more of an originating and destination market for American Airlines over a connecting hub. The carrier still prefers to connect its passengers through major hubs like Dallas, Charlotte, or Phoenix. However, the importance of Austin cannot be overlooked. It is one of America's fastest growing cities and home to major universities and campuses for major corporations. And even more growth is coming. American Airlines tends to stick to its core hub structure, but it has made moves in the other markets that point-to-point services in the crisis. For more examples, the airlines added many new routes out of Austin, operating on a peak leisure day basis for the summer of 2021. Austin, however, is at a different level, is not large enough to be categorized as a hub. However, is definitely turning into a proper focus city. American Airlines is shying away from calling it one. Guys, this is a really big announcement for American Airlines because obviously American has not had such an operation such as Austin really since pretty much St. Louis, San Juan type days. St. Louis as well. American, or did I say St. Louis? I meant St. Louis and then kind of Boston and then San Juan. American Airlines has always been about the hub-to-spoke model, of course, which is moving passengers to point A to C via point B. However, this is more of a whole different scenario because American Airlines has so many, not necessarily point to point, but routes that are not made for the city the size of Austin, with examples being Cincinnati, El Paso, Indianapolis, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and these sort of cities. They're definitely going for competition on these flights because I feel like this may be a little bit of an indirect response to Spirit's massive 30 route new announcement out of Miami International Airport, because American Airlines owned so many flights on that Miami market, and unfortunately they simply can't do anything really about it besides either add frequencies or upgrade the aircraft. And this is kind of one thing that I really fell in love with recently is just strategy in general for these airlines, from looking at Instagram posts from Tampa Airport Spotting to listening to the Aviation Social Club podcast featuring Owen and James. They really make some very, very good points about what the aviation industry has turned into, and especially in such an interesting time. From 2010 to 2020, we didn't really see anything like this from these airlines, but now these airlines are taking stabs back to back at each other on interesting movements. For example, we have low-cost airlines such as Allegiant and Spirit starting these crazy new 8 and 10 new route expansions out of airports they've never been at before, such as Orange County and Pensacola. We also see United doing some very, very interesting point-to-point services in a large fashion with their CRJ 550 aircraft during the summer season to airports such as Hilton Head Island, I believe it was Myrtle Beach or something, but as well as Pensacola. And then we have American Airlines here operating a new focus city without even classifying it as one, as they're going to have about 100 daily departures, which put it into retrospective. I think Dallas and Charlotte and Phoenix at their peaks had about 500 to 600 daily flights. So Austin's turned into about a sixth of what those hubs were on normal schedules. And these hubs, while that may seem like a huge number of 500, 600, 700, we have to keep in mind the amount of routes, frequencies, and passengers that go through these airports. Austin was another airport like even St. Louis or San Antonio, an airport with some establishment from low-cost carriers, but absolutely nothing, I guess you could say just a little establishment from the big three. And now you have American Airlines and Delta Airlines doing some super interesting things. However, this statement from American really shows that they are committed to Austin, as shown. They want to give Austin all these nonstop services to cities that they think will have the interest from that. Whether it's a leisure traveler in some cases, or in some other cases, potentially the business travelers that may come back at some point. This announcement is directed at them. And it is super, super interesting. Personally, there is going to be response from this. We saw what American Airlines did in March with all those new services, with new service to Cincinnati is on here as a refresh, but I'm sure if I refresh the page again, all these flights will be on here. But I think most of these will be Embraer ERJ-175 turns for Envoy, as they already have that little turn establishment for these other routes that they have, like Nashville, New Orleans, Raleigh-Durham, Aspen, that's from Fort Walton Beach, and Miami. Sorry, not Miami. I don't know why that's seasonal. That's interesting. But they have all these new flights starting with Washington Dulles main line and all these new international flights as well. And on top of that, you have Tampa main line, which is a 319, Las Vegas. I mean, it's just such an interesting movement right now. Orlando. American Airlines started with this mainline little experiment, and they're like, if it works to these larger cities, why don't we go another level and try to fly to some of these cities that's our Southwest is cooking on? And this is exactly what Spirit did to American at Miami. American had no competition on these flights, such as, for example, you had all kinds, like San Juan and all those airports out there, like the Pittsburghs, Clevelands, all those flights that American had no competition on. And now they're screwed because they either add frequency with assets they may or may not have, or they are going to lose to Spirit with these $20 fares. However, now you have American Airlines, who's going to take a shot at Southwest, who has owned these markets such as El Paso, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, and the whole 9 yards of those services. But guys, this really is a statement for American, and Airports, like I've said, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Indianapolis has never seen a service like this from American Airlines to an airport the size of this. Or from any of the big three, United, Delta, American, or whoever. You'd never see American Airlines have a service from Austin to Tulsa, Austin to Raleigh-Durham, Austin to any of these places. And to see that we're going to be doing this is really a statement that American Airlines may have their next major operation in the book. But anyways, guys, what an announcement this will be. I highly recommend checking out Tampa Airport Spotting and the Aviation Social Club podcast because they are great forms of media for learning about these sort of things. I have learned so much from listening to that podcast and Tampa Airport Spotting's post on Instagram. And it's definitely something I would love to make more content about in the future when my health let me, but I definitely could not resist not talking about Austin International Airport. And I was going to say, as the icing on the cake, somebody's going to reply to that announcement. I think Southwest may add more frequencies on those services and announce new services. It's either going to be that, or if Delta wants anything more to do with Austin, their announcement needs to be soon, because they've been way too quiet at Austin to not do nothing if they're going to want to keep Austin as a long-term deal, which it sounded like from some of those press releases that they did, but they haven't done enough to make that statement. Man, we may see something out of Frontier potentially as well, or Spirit. Spirit, of course, has their little establishment of about a dozen routes. We could see Spirit start a whole new operation. They're obviously not scared with doing 30 routes at Austin, and then, of course, you have the Pensacola movement, Kansas City, St. Louis, and all that fun stuff. But I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Sorry I wasn't able to talk longer. I got to get going on schoolwork. And on top of that, the Pensacola Airport update has been filmed. I'm ready to get that uploaded and all that fun stuff whenever the time is right. And then, of course, we have some tier list videos and all kinds of fun stuff. But the news has been broken. American Airlines doing crazy things, and I'm super, super excited to see what's next for competition. If you guys enjoyed these sort of videos, please let me know in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this absolutely bizarre, or not bizarre, but just really interesting announcement from American Airlines at Austin International Airport. But thank you guys so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe, trust the process. Do what you love and love what you do. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon as Redriveraviation is signing off.